Good morning, everybody. By the way, it's a Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday here.
Yes.
I'm Jeff DeForest. A very handsome-looking Mike Lubitz today.
Thank
you
you,
have
sir.
stepped it up. You have heeded the warnings and the suggestions of the people at Ion Channel.
There you go.
And mostly that related to Ditch the Crib, which you managed to do there. I like that blanket you put over the thing. Makes all the difference in the world in terms of the background. But good to have you guys with us. A Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday. One thing we didn't have to do, and this was great. And it shows you where the program is at if you can call a professional team like the Miami Dolphins having a program. Now, they've won 2 in a row, and they're sitting there at 3-7 with an outside shot, of course. If you do all the mathematical permutations. Well, you know what? They got games against 5 crummy teams coming up. They can win them all. If they can run the table, go Willie Mosconi, just run the table. Little Steve Miserak here. Okay, that's 178 straight balls he's pocketed. Remember those guys used to be on TV? You were too young to remember the wide world of sports, Mike Lubitz, where they would fill time with like a pool match between Miserak and Willie Mosconi. Mosconi always in the tuxedo, Miserak kind of a loose goose, looked like he would have been hanging out with Paul Hornung at the track. In fact, did they make a commercial together, Hornung and Miserak? I think they did. They were both in that light beer stuff, were they not? Miller Lite, when those commercials first came out, even when you're just fooling around. But they would actually show, these two guys having a pool match, and, Mosconi would run like 178 straight balls. They would have to, well, due to time constraints, we move ahead to further action in this thing. Well, he's just knocked down his 152nd. But people are talking about the Dolphins perhaps running off like the next 5 wins because they play, I think they might have the Jets twice during that period of time. Wow, you talk about glass slipper. My goodness. It's Thanksgiving. Is there a pumpkin shortage? Because everything else, we're just flat out of everything. Seem to be a lot of pumpkins around, huh? And the Jets quarterback situation, once again, turned to a pumpkin. Every time fans get their hopes way up on a guy, especially a backup guy, Jeremy Lin was another one of these guys that had a great flash in the pan period of time there with the New York Knicks, and everybody thought, wow, where did they find this guy? And the next thing you found him on the waiver wire for about 3 straight years after 10-day contracts expired with various teams. But no, he did have a little glorious run there during a period of time. Who was out? Like Carmelo Anthony? Somebody was out. That was a big-time player for him. It must have been a guard, right? Because Jeremy Lin was in there making things happen.
Yep.
But he had that serendipitous period of time. There have been others in New York sports history, New York sports law. They were talking about it. Mike Vaccaro, a good friend, was talking about it. And this Mike White. Wow, you talk about a snap back to reality. Mike White was going to make them forget that they drafted Zach Wilson. And now they can't wait for Zach to get back.
Exactly.
Well, now it's his job. As soon as he gets back here after this cat threw 4 picks yesterday and just got buried. In the New York Jets' lopsided loss that they incurred at the hands of the Buffalo Bills, who had just been disgraced by losing 9-6 to Jacksonville the previous week. So crazy stuff once again in the National Football League. But I would have to say, and by the way, Lubie, how are you? You look good. You're all right. You look a little busy there for the people watching on video on Ion Channel.
Facebook posts for this morning. Hopefully people find us, as it is a Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday. It was an interesting sports weekend. For me, it was good in the win column. I still feel about all of our teams. I don't know what the hell happened to the Panthers. Like, right when they got really good and everyone was excited. Haven't they lost like 4 out of 5 or something? Like,
they've lost 4 in a row. 2 of those, though, they did pick up points, 1 in a shootout, 1 in overtime. So after getting 21 of a possible 22 points in their first 11 games, they now picked up 2 out of a possible 8 in their next 4. But it's a 4-game losing streak, if you want to look at it that way. How do we consider these overtime losses in hockey, huh? A tie is like kissing your sister, huh? I mean, the Detroit Lions, do they feel that way after that 16-16 tie against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Like
wow, you talk about watching some pure NFL dreck. That was it, except for the fact that you were kind of hoping that the Lions would win just to see what Campbell would do, right?
Yeah. He would wrestle a bear.
Do something. I don't know. Have an alligator, like, grabbing him by the neck there and celebrate by throwing him off and saying, see, we can win a ball game. But they nearly did. I mean, they had every opportunity to win that ball game, and they managed to screw it up there in the overtime period. And then Pittsburgh, with a shot to win at the very end, looked like they had a surefire field goal. They had moved into field goal range with almost no time left on the clock, a 10-minute overtime period. When was that adjustment made, by the way? Didn't they used to go 15? That was 7 years ago, Dave.
Yeah, a few years ago. I was just going to say.
And that's another issue. I don't want to get too scattered here because we want to focus on what transpired here in town, which is obituary city for the University of Miami. Anybody that believes out there, stand up and go ahead and let us recognize you. Anybody that believes that the University of Miami football program will ever be what it once was, please stand up and take a position by the door because you need to walk right out of there, man. That's not Larry Coker. Right? It's, what was the song there? Streisand? Scattered, fractured memories or whatever of the love we left behind.
Yes.
Scattered memories of the love we left behind.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we have. We have fractured memories of the program we left behind about 20 some odd years ago. It ain't coming back, people. It's not coming back. That team was 3-6 that the Hurricanes came out ice cold. Manny Diaz supposed to beat a guy. His comments after the game, unfortunately, he's morphing into not even Larry Coker. He's morphing into Joe Philbin, smoking Joe Philbin in his post-game press conferences and pronouncements. Now, I'm not one that believes that you have to kill yourself after you lose a ball game. It's a ball game. All right. And maybe you just have to accept that you're not as good as you once were, or you're not very good to begin with, whatever it is. Or that the other team played better than you did, or even though you had better personnel, they found a way to win the ball game, and so you ended up a loser. I don't know. I was never one that thought that you had to go into some kind of dark depression after losing a game, right? I lose, out there in the tennis courts to some guy that can't even hit the ball. It's okay. What are you going to do, right? Go to the beach and brush it off.
Exactly.
But Manny Diaz, while saying that, I mean, at the same time, you lose a game to a team that was 3-6. On a 4th and 14 from your 25-yard line, you allow a guy to throw the ball down the middle while your 3 linemen are counting Mississippi's. Now, in the old days, the Hurricanes would have rushed 9 guys at that quarterback.
Probably.
Is the FSU quarterback a freshman?
No, he's a redshirt sophomore.
Redshirt sophomore, which makes him like in his 7th year at the school.
Exactly.
All right. But it's his first year as a starter, is it not?
As an outright starter, yes.
Okay. So why wouldn't you want to just flatten this guy? Why would you give the guy time to survey the field and then throw a ball into a soft zone down the middle of the field to the 1-yard line and lose the game when you had 4th and 14? This was the time where, you just absolutely annihilate the quarterback. I mean, going against Oklahoma on the road, Nebraska back in the day on the road. Alabama before they were this good. Any team that the Hurricanes faced when they were on the rise and in their period of prominence there, they would have blitzed this guy into the ground. Now, I don't say they go Greg Williams on this because he was clearly out to sabotage Adam Gase when he went with an 11-man blitz at the quarterback when all they had to do was keep the other team out of the end zone. In this case, you just don't want to give up 14 yards on a 4th and 14. That's all you have to do. So what's the best way to do that? Just blitz the guy, and you know what? Take a shot. We're either going to win the game right here or lose. They ended up losing anyway. Yep. So what was the point of making it easy for the FSU quarterback to survey the field and find a guy in the middle of a soft zone? That's poor coaching. Who's the defensive coordinator for the Canes? Oh!
Yeah, exactly.
I hate to condemn Manny Diaz. He looks like a good guy. He seems like he says and does all the right things about, well, you know what? We're concerned about academics here. Yeah, sure, man.
You probably
Maybe you need to get unconcerned, man. Exactly. Throw all the books out of the football dormitory there except for the playbook. And see if you can get these guys. I mean, the worst tackling team in Division I football.
Penalties.
Horrendous loss, penalties, and stupidity. I mean, just all over the place. And then on top of that, you're going to get that thing they stole from Flava Flav and put it around a guy's neck when you're down 17 to a crap team on the road, and you finally get a fumble, in some fluke play, and a guy falls on the ball, some fat guy falls on the ball, and then you got to hang this chain around his neck that has like a grandfather clock attached to it, and start whooping and hollering like you just won the Super Bowl at a college football championship. Disgrace all the way around is what it was. Huh? I mean, think about it. Schnellenberger, he would have sent the house. Jimmy would have sent the house. You think Jimmy's going to count one Mississippi, two Mississippi, three Mississippi? Exactly. Oh, look at that. We didn't execute the play properly. This is what Diaz was saying after the game. Well, there was a lack of execution there. And you know what? This loss should fuel our team and inspire them to play better in the future. Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, you're like spitting up your drink listening to this garbage that this guy was saying. Now, I don't know. Is that in conjunction with the whole idea that maybe I'm getting carried away, right? Because I view this as kind of a professional enterprise, whereas maybe that's the proper message to send to people. Just as I was saying, I don't think you have to destroy your life because you lost a ball game if you're a player on the University of Miami football team. But seeing as you're essentially a paid professional in many of these positions, especially the top players, you would have to think that it's a little consolation that may fuel and inspire better efforts in the future, as the Hurricane season essentially is just a complete waste. And that whole 3-game winning streak, now you're back to what is that? The myth of the Sisyphus, where the guy pushes the rock up the hill, up the hill, up the hill, and just as he gets there, like he was one of the Mexican soldiers at the Alamo, boom,
takes him out.
There's Davy Crockett, man, Daniel Boone. Who was at the Alamo? Crockett, Boone?
Yes,
were they both there?
Maybe both.
I don't even know.
Maybe both.
They were the only two guys there. They had like 8,000 Mexican soldiers climbing ladders. They would just push them right off there. God. It's crazy. It was kind of like the British in the Revolutionary War, where you would have a band lead you into battle. But boom, boom, boom. They may as well do that the way the Hurricanes were playing football. So that was wild. Now, you're not gloating in celebration because you hate all of your teams, Lubie. I mean, this was a monumental upset, in my opinion, even though somehow the game went off like 2 and a hook.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not.
In favor of the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes were laying 2.5 points in this game. The professor liked them. And by the way, as I'm thinking about it, nice call there. I don't know who his other pro game was, Mark Lawrence on the Friday Degenerate Friday show we had here on Ion Channel. The Washington football team not only covering 9 and a hook, but winning by 10 points, right, over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Bruce Arians was very upset after that ball game. He called his team stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. It was like Chaz Palminteri talking to Kevin Spacey and The Usual Suspects. You're stupid, Verbal. You're stupid. You're a cripple. He was upset.
Well, he was wrong in his other game. He had Seattle over Green Bay, and they lost 17-0. But
that
was that game right.
They had plenty of chances though. Seattle threw 3 picks in the end zone in that ball game. So Russell Wilson got picked off, I think, 3 times. All 3 times it was in the end zone, where Green Bay made the interception. So if you think about it, well, they could have been right there. Aaron Rodgers, man,
he's fun.
Looked all right for a guy that was down for the count with COVID.
My favorite.
Although they weren't exactly a scoring machine, right?
No,
they weren't looking great. So interesting weekend all the way around in the NFL. Yes. But the pleasure was not having to watch a Dolphin game, wasn't it? I mean, people, how much of a relief was that?
Yep.
Not to waste your Sunday watching Dolphins football.
Exactly.
That's what struck me. I was thinking, oh, great. The Dolphins don't play today. I don't have to drift off to some television set that's being, just absolutely annihilated by the sunshine, while trying to get outside on a beautiful day when, who would want to be relegated and obligated in a sense? I mean, is that part of our obligation to know what's going on? We're going to do like an hour on football with John Congemi.
Yep.
And that's Dateline Dolphins is the headline on that show. But I think we could just make a Dateline with John Congemi. Why don't we do that?
Exactly. Just Dateline.
Well, he's happily married, but a lot of girls would like to date John Congemi, no question. But nonetheless, Dateline John Congemi, I think, should be the name of the show. Brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, of course, because it's a great place to chill out. And Jimmy would have never, I mean, can you imagine rushing 3 guys in that spot against Florida State? I mean, the coaching used to be innovative in that series, and now it's just absolutely diabolical. I mean, you were, I didn't really follow this, but you were screaming about both the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator for Florida State. Where does that leave you with regard to the head coach who orchestrated this marvelous victory? But you're saying they should have been up like 35-zip at halftime, except for the conservatism of the calls on both sides of the ball. As they also, I think you were correct in this. They alleviated the pressure they were putting on the Canes quarterback, freshman quarterback, who's only had limited playing time, came in after De'Aaron King went down, and was acquitting himself very well until this ball game when they were pressuring him and made him look like a dope, and then they backed off because they had the lead.
Well, they didn't back off. It was like I don't know if the Canes, what they do on defense. I don't really watch the Canes on defense, but not
much. I mean, they can't, exactly. Literally, they cannot tackle your wife.
Exactly.
If she was running the football up the middle.
Your wife, but
she would break 4 tackles.
I know their defense has gone backwards every year, so I think that's a little strange, especially since Manny took over this year and it's gotten worse. FSU's defense I've been frustrated with all year because they have flashes, because Jermaine Johnson is a friggin' monster, and if he's making plays, their defense is fine. The problem is, you're not going to get pressure with 4 every down. Like, that's not, like, Georgia has one of the best defensive lines ever. They have the best defensive line in college football. And they blitz all day. Like, they don't even need to blitz. But because they're aggressive and they're creative, they still blitz. So to me, if your defensive line's okay, you should be blitzing everywhere. Florida State doesn't. Adam Fuller, as a defensive coordinator, is fine. They're better, but he's not aggressive. He's very passive, and that frustrates me because Mickey Andrews, yeah, and we had Peter Bullware and Renard Wilson and Andre Wadsworth, yeah, we didn't blitz. But if his defensive lines were okay, he was blitzing. And I grew up with Jimmy Johnson down here with the Canes, and even some of the other Canes teams and the Knowles teams, and even some of the Jimmy Johnson with the Dolphins, those teams were super aggressive. So I'm used to aggressive defenses, and watching a guy sit there and count Mississippi's frustrates the hell out of me. And it's the only reason FSU won was because Manny did it the other way. Like, why are you rushing 3 there?
Crazy.
Like, what are you doing?
How do you send 3 guys in that spot? That's just insane. I literally, an all-out sellout. If they were beaten and they sent 11 guys after the quarterback and the guy somehow got off a lucky pass,
whatever,
it went for a touchdown, you would have said, all right, I'll have to concede they got lucky on that one. But no, very strange strategy and not very encouraging. I'm happy to see that you're upset with your coaching staff, even though they pulled off a miraculous victory over a team that should have shellacked them. And if you're a Hurricanes fan, I think it's time, right? Blow taps, baby. It's Tap City when it comes to any idea. I mean, I don't ever want to hear this resurrected again. Been having this discussion for over 20 years on South Florida airwaves. Hey, Defo, you think they'll ever be back to what they once were? All you have to do is put up a giant N and a giant O. And that's it. You can blame Donna Shalala. You can blame Al Golden. Well, they do have a series of schmink coaches that I hate to include Manny Diaz as one of them. He's probably a fine individual. Seems like a really good guy. We've had him on the show. He inspired me, right, with this conversation.
Yes.
Made you feel like, okay, we're going somewhere here.
There you go.
And then,
exactly.
Sir, there's a foul odor emanating from your backside. That's kind of what's happened here with his coaching range. So 5-5 for the Hurricanes. Season once again rendered meaningless. They lose for the first time in the last 5 games to supposedly their arch rival, and there was a lot of steam about that game in Tallahassee. The Tallahassee people really reacted well to that.
Yeah,
I don't know how many Hurricane fans traveled with the team to go on the road and watch that ugliness, but there'll be less of them the next time. I can assure you. A lot of other stuff happened in college football, right? Oklahoma losing, that was a big one, and that game ended in some controversy. I don't know how you feel about that. The 2 coaches not big fans of each other. Now, this is an interesting dilemma. Now, what do you do in this spot? Mike Lubie Lubitz, Mr. Sports Ethics.
There you go.
Okay. The Baylor football team, if they're involved in some kind of fight to get into a tie to get into the postseason there, or whatever it is, the conference championship game, point differential becomes a factor.
Yes.
And so their coach calls a timeout. Dave Aranda calls a timeout with like 3 seconds to go. But the fans were already storming the field, and nobody knew that he'd called his timeout.
I love it. Nice, man.
And he called a timeout so he could kick a field goal and increase the point differential in that ball game by 3 points, which... Okay, let's suppose he's right. I don't know how many mathematical permutations he did to come up with the number there, but let's suppose it did make a difference. And it was a difference maker in Baylor making the conference championship game. Is it an insult to the Oklahoma Sooners, who were supposed to beat Baylor in that game and were on their way to the college football championships, except...
Exactly.
They lost. Now, they were going to lose anyway. This field goal made no difference, except maybe in a subsequent tie-breaking situation when they went to the 18th criteria to decide who was going to go to the postseason there and go to the conference championship game. So then, on top of that, they clear the field after like 20 minutes. They bring both teams back out on the field after Oklahoma had left the field. Lincoln Riley was steaming mad that he had to come back out there. And then they go ahead and kick the field goal. Just right in their face. So, and Riley was not happy about that. I mean, if this was a hockey game, they would have fought. They would have dropped the gloves right there at the center of the field. Not sure if there was any congratulatory gesture made there on the part of Lincoln Riley, but he had to be upset because his team just fell out of contention now for the college football championship after a season of hard work. Yep. Schwitzing and bleeding and, doing all this practicing and coaches sleeping on couches at the offices there, recruiting is not going well. Whatever it is that was bugging him, it had to be exacerbated by the fact that they lost this game. And then to add insult to injury, so to speak, if you'll allow me that cliche on a Monday morning, Peel yourself off the mat Monday, the guy goes out and calls a timeout so he could kick a field goal, but then there's a 20-minute delay while they clear the field from like 20,000 people that stormed onto the field. And where is security, Lubie? Where is security in these situations? And TV loves it too. It's a big Phil Mushnick thing. His big pet peeve is somebody's going to get crushed like they did at that Astroworld thing with guys storming the field. It can't lead to anything good, can it? I mean, I know it looks great and seems very exciting. Everybody rushing onto the court or rushing onto the field, but well, where are those guys in the yellow jackets, man? Are they out having a smoke?
I thought we had stopped that. Well, especially with COVID. Like I thought we had the professor always makes fun of me because at FSU, I was there especially during a run where our basketball team wasn't great, but we kept upsetting teams. Like we upset Wake Forest, North Carolina, and Duke at home. Over like 3 years, we rushed the court like 6 times. Like at some point, don't you stop rushing the court? And I actually agree with him. Like it gets old after a while. Like the football games, I don't understand. Like Baylor wasn't bad. Like weren't there like a playoff caliber team like 3 years ago? Like why are you rushing the field? Like I don't understand the rushing of the field when it's not that big of an upset. Weren't they ranked 13? Like how big of an upset is it when you're 13?
When do you see the fans on the field and a guy calls a timeout so he can kick a meaningless field goal, which he feels has meaning? Yeah, maybe Lincoln Riley had right to be upset. Anyway, a lot of action all around the NFL. The Lions, is a tie like kissing your sister, or do you feel good about that? That snapped a 12-game losing streak.
They probably feel good.
And even though they didn't get the win over Pittsburgh, they're in there battling. A lot of people feel they're the best or were the best 0-8 team in the NFL. I think they were the only 0-8 team in the NFL, yes, so I guess that makes them both the best and the worst. But many people, including Steve White, who is on our podcast, on the Believe Podcast Network, said to us, well, if you watch the way they play for Dan Campbell, I mean, they may not be a great team, but they play their eyeballs out for this guy, which he may gouge them out. I don't know.
Exactly.
Some kind of act of human sacrifice later on in the season. But, I was kind of rooting for him. I mean, you'd like to see the team get that big goose egg out of the win column at some point in time. It's such a disgrace to go unvictorious for the season, but nonetheless, couldn't pull it off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then I don't know if I believe this. Because now they're throwing all these stats up there, and it goes so quickly, and it's a lot of quantifying stuff about, well, he's the youngest guy ever to run for 3 yards following a game in which he ran for 86 yards. And it's all meaningless stuff. But is it true? I guess they don't play that often, huh? Is that possible? The Lions and the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, rarely.
That the last Lions win in Pittsburgh, goes back to when the Pittsburgh Steelers played at Forbes Field, which was the stadium, of course, where Maz hit the home run in 1960, the old Pittsburgh Pirates ballpark. They actually played games in Forbes Field, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that came in, I believe, it said 1957. So they hadn't won there in like 60-some-odd years, the Detroit Lions, and they still haven't won there because they got stuck with a tie in that ball game. All right, many other things happening. The Heat had a big win over the weekend, Miami Heat. Duncan Robinson, it was funny, too, because I was thinking, what makes Eric Spoelstra believe that Duncan Robinson is suddenly going to snap out of the funk that he was in? He had a horrible shooting percentage from three-point land, and, it might have been like the goalie Bobrovsky, right? The money weighing him down, although you don't think so with a kid like that. And you certainly don't think that money seeps into Heat culture. Do you believe that Heat culture, the so-called Heat culture, which is some kind of occult way of describing the spell that Riley has over anybody that comes in contact with. Right? I mean, if Riley wanted these guys to chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo throughout the ball game, you'd be hearing this weird buzz coming from the court instead of the squeaking of sneakers. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Because people do, as Riley says, especially if they're in the organization. But the money couldn't have been weighing Duncan Robinson down, right? I mean, he got all that free agent capital. The Heat re-signed him, and he was being highly sought after by others because of the coveted nature of the three-point shot and the accurate three-point shooter And then he goes out and he's shooting like 12% from the field or
Exactly.
something from 3-point range for the season. And I saw Spoelstra in a post-game interview after he had bricked a couple of potential game-winner or game-influencing threes at the end of a ball game the previous time out. And Spoelstra saying, we ain't worried about Duncan. You know, he's going to get it right back. And the very next game, he goes out and hits 6 threes.
Oh, there you go.
Shoots 8 for 14. I tell you, he's having a phenomenal year, and no one's talking about it because people are trying to figure out what's up with Kyrie. But Kevin Durant is, I believe, leading the league in scoring, averaging nearly 30 points a game. While shooting, Lubie, get this, and it's not like he's just in there like Rudy Gobert, like dropping the ball through the basket every now and then on a rebound when they've already cleared out the paint. I mean, he's shooting threes. He's shooting under pressure. He's shooting while being double teamed. He's driving to the basket and doing that while being well defensed, and he's shooting almost 60% from the field. Jeez. If you can believe that. Kevin Durant,
That's
averaging
insane.
30 points a game for the Brooklyn Nets.
And most of the stuff's
who are now on a roll.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Having a good year. You think he wants Kyrie back, or he just wants to...
He just wants
he's no spring chicken either, Kevin Durant. And he's had his share of injuries that you would think eventually would take their toll. So, phenomenal season by Kevin Durant. And the Brooklyn Nets, watch out, Lubie. Now 10-4. Milwaukee, what, is Antetokounmpo out for a couple of games? Because they have slumped to 6-8, the defending NBA champions. So, looking like they were very much on the chicken circuit during the offseason. So many things happening all around the board. As you mentioned, our Florida Panthers, who were smoking hot to start the season, have now lost 4 straight, although picked up points in 2 of those games as they lost in a shootout to the Boston Bruins and then lost in overtime to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Did you see that fight in that game?
No.
Braden Point, excellent player for the Tampa Bay Lightning, duking it out with Patrice Hornqvist.
Oh, okay.
Patrick Hornqvist, whatever it is.
Okay.
Hornqvist. He's an old dude, man. And he threw more right hands in about 6 seconds than Caleb Plant did in the entire 11 rounds he was in there with Canelo Alvarez. I mean, this guy had a great hockey fighting strategy. Just keep firing. Grab a guy with one hand and just keep firing. I mean, piston-like jab. It was unbelievable. I don't know that he landed anything, and I don't know what good it does when the guy's got like a full face guard. And, you're punching this guy, but they dropped the gloves there. It was a sensational fight. Point and Hornqvist. Bad blood, Lubie. Bad blood exists between the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So now that may be a real rivalry now that the two teams are actually playing very well, but we'll see if the Panthers can get off this 4-game skid. They host the Islanders here in town, here in South Florida on Tuesday night. And Heat in action tonight. As that's a rough stretch they were on. They were lucky to salvage that game against Utah, huh? Or was it? Yeah,
Utah. They're now 2-0 versus Utah.
Yeah, they're playing Oklahoma City, who's off to an 8-5 start. Who does Oklahoma City have? Anybody? Nobody, right?
The one guy with the 3 names, Gilgis, whatever. I don't know. They don't have a lot of guys. I really can't name
Cookie Gilchrist, I think the guy's name is, yeah. He was a great running back. Underrated.
Shea Gilgis Alexander or something, I think it's...
Our good friend Andy says if Gino was playing, the Hurricanes win that ball.
Probably.
If Gino was playing.
Van Dyke wasn't horrible. I mean, it wasn't all on Van Dyke. I think both of those teams are not good, and I think the FSU is fine because it's Norvell's second year, so whatever. I think for Manny, it's a different story. It's his 3rd year. They talked all this crap about the new Miami, and
it's going nowhere.
He's made coaching changes, which is what I want from Norvell. So he's tried, and they haven't gotten better. They've gotten worse.
Yeah, it's ugly. I mean, but they'll never fire this guy. People keep asking me, like privately, well, what are they going to do at the University of Miami? Nothing. What are they going to do? It is what it is. John Congemi said this on the show. Remember, we almost fell over backwards out of our chairs now that people could see us. Yeah. We would have been laying on the ground in need of a standing, an 8 count, not even standing.
An 8 count. It's true.
When he said, the Hurricane fans should equate themselves with like Appalachian State. Appalachian State.
He said it. He was on it. He meant it.
That's what FSU Miami looked like. It looked like Appalachian State against Louisiana Monroe, didn't it?
Yes.
If those two were big arch rivals,
I agree.
It's about the level of what that game's influence was on the overall picture of determining a national champion. And that was always the cliche. I love that one. This is a game with national championship implications. It would be like game 1 of the season. And that was true a lot of times.
It was true.
No longer,
Not
especially when they
Saturday.
voted back in the day. Imagine if they used the presidential election officials to determine
Oh, God.
who was going to be the national champion back in the days when they voted. All right, we're coming back with more. We're just getting started here on Appeal Yourself Off the Mat Monday. John Congemi goes Dateline football, I think we're going to have to call it, with us. The Miami Dolphins not playing. That was a relief, man.
Yes.
I mean, what a break to catch a beautiful Sunday in your hometown. How many people around the country are feeling that way about their own individual NFL entity or the big college team in town?
Say a ton.
That it was a relief not to have to put up with watching a game. That's not a good position for a sports fan to be in. All right, I'm Jeff DeForest. He is Mike Lubie Lubitz. We're on Ion Channel. And Ion Channel wants you to know these people are really doing a great job. A lot of questions about health insurance, Lubie. Health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You have questions about it, right? I'm seeing all these ads for Medicare supplements. Theismann's got one. Joe Willie. Just about everybody is touting something there, and they're telling you, well, don't worry about a thing. Complete 1,000% dental coverage, this, that. And you don't know what you're getting into. And that's right where these guys set themselves apart at HST Insurance. They understand how confusing this time can be for a lot of people in choosing a carrier, and they can help you navigate your options. Whether you're looking for yourself or looking for a plan for your family, they have a plan for you. Their trusted advisors can find that plan that meets your needs, and you can call them today at 855-282-8022, 855-282-8022. I want to tell you about Destination Sport Miami, man. We have to get some of the guys on the show.
Trying.
What are we doing about that?
They're busy. They're busy over there. They got a lot going on, but I'm working on it.
All right, we need a little Trottier,
Exactly.
little Glenn Rice, huh? How about G Money talking about the NBA? That would be great. And of course, Jill Ellis on soccer, because even though and she was very gracious about the fact that we admitted that we know nothing about soccer. We're asking questions like, "Gee, Jill, why is the goal so big and yet nobody can score?" We did ask her about that crazy penalty kicks thing, and nobody's a fan of it, but they really can't come up with any kind of a solution. Shouldn't you just be able to fire a ball at the goaltender's head? I don't know. They have to come up with a better way of deciding those games. But you couldn't have a better person running their soccer programs at Destination Sport Miami than Jill Ellis. Levon Hernandez on baseball. Randy Moss. I love You've Got Moss. We have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's probably the best segment on any pregame show, isn't it? You've Got Moss.
Yep.
Or You've Been Mossed.
Yep.
Where these guys, you don't realize how many guys are making these kind of leaping catches, Odell Beckham style or, circus style catches in football all around the board, high school, college, pros. Absolutely fantastic. But what's fantastic is the ambitious undertaking. Destination Sport Miami is going to be the largest indoor multifaceted sport facility anywhere in the North American continent. And that includes you guys up there in Canada. Nothing bigger. I mean, nothing better, too. Going to attract a lot of teams here, a lot of different individuals, elite athletes, and youth programs going to be run there, going to be sensational. Real asset to the South Florida community, going to enhance the South Florida business community, build up tourism as well with the amazing facilities they have with indoor, and world-class football fields, hockey arenas, basketball courts, tennis courts, just about anything. Even a section of the building going to be dedicated to e-games, which, I don't know, are you a big e-game player, Lubie? You play
When I was in college,
Madden,
I loved
whatever?
video games. And all my nephews love video games. And nieces love them.
Kids love them, man. I mean, all you have to do now is hand a 3-year-old a cell phone, and you may as well, have just given him a piece of ice cream cake to smear all over his face. Going to be in heaven. Destination Sport Miami is going to put the sports community here in heaven as well. Check them out on their website, destinationsportmiami.com, and look forward to what is going to be the most ambitious undertaking, I think, on the sporting scene here this side of what was Joe Robbie Stadium. But old Joe anteed up the cash to go ahead and build that facility, and guess what? It was his own dime. That's what these people are doing at Destination Sport Miami. Really going to be something terrific. DestinationSportMiami.com. All right, coming back with more. I'm Jeff DeForest. He is Mike Lubie Lubitz. Peeling ourselves off the mat on this fine Monday here on Ion Channel. You can catch us all over the place. Ion Channel, IonChannel.com with video, audio, and the many different methods. The show is now being distributed in and offered up to our public. We appreciate you guys finding us and spreading the word. We'll be back with more in a moment. Now that.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm, you could get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at GulfstreamPark.com. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes, because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy, and if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7, Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a house and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy, with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. So nothing ugly about John Congemi when he joins us here with Dateline Dolphins. Dolphins played last Thursday and sparked yet another. See, there's no quarterback controversy here except can this guy play? And we're not the only franchise that is having to put that question to the test and to go ahead and do even more exploratory surgery on that particular move. I mean, how many teams really are set overall at quarterback? Even when you thought a couple of years ago that the Rams were ready to go with Jared Goff, now all of a sudden he's trying to find a way to eke out a win for the Detroit Lions, and he's not always the biggest help to his team, Jared Goff. I had to eat some crow, and you know what? I asked the Gambling Gourmet what goes good with crow, what goes well, what's a good match, and he said Grey Poupon.
That's a throwback.
Would you pass the Grey Poupon, please? I'll have a bit of crow to eat. We did, and I was watching Jared Goff throw grounders, 2 hoppers to short on just the easiest, simplest. But when they dumb it down for a quarterback, that's never a good sign either, when they dumb it down too much. Because you start thinking maybe they're dumbing it down because what would be the obvious, conclusion to reach there, Lubie? Because this guy's dumb.
Exactly. He's just not good enough.
Because he can't play. I mean, dumb in the sense that as a physical and mental specimen when it comes to playing football, this is just not your cat. And, I'm watching Goff in his first year. And literally, he's throwing 2 hoppers. You were waiting for, Phil Rizzuto to come in and scoop one of those things up. He was the MVP in 1950. A lot of people thought he didn't deserve it. Oh, Phil, the scooter, man, he was great, was he not? The rambling nonsense that he used to come up with, very much like we're doing on this show. Where all of a sudden he's talking about the lasagna at some restaurant in Red Bank. Meanwhile, it's like a 3-2 count with the game on the line. You know what? I'm going to Mama Leone's tonight. Okay, Phil. They had to put him on ice, but no, he was great. And of course, that endorsement for the money store is one that, Steve Garvey got in a jackpot, right, for endorsing, and I think I may have briefly been on board as an endorser for this stuff that you drank before you went to bed, Lubie. It was like a strawberry shake. You drank it before you went to sleep, and you would be guaranteed to lose weight by shoveling down this 12,000 calorie milkshake. You would lose weight while you slept and never have to work out. That was the pitch. Okay. You want to lose weight fast? Drink this every night before you go to bed. It was very expensive also. And I think it was Garvey got in a jackpot for endorsing that. I bowed out. I found the nature of the claims that the product was making and the people behind it to be somewhat suspect. And even me, Lubie, with an ounce of integrity, could not recommend this garbage to people that listen to the show. And it used to be one of those things where, in the business there, people would say, get Lubie to do it. He'll endorse anything. Wouldn't matter what it was. How many people came to us with penal enlargement propositions? As an endorsement.
Get a few.
You're going to take a pill and all of a sudden, here you are. You're Mandingo. I mean, get the hell out of here. Ken Norton was pretty good in that movie. Oh, didn't know he could act. And he did beat Ali, I guess, both times. All right. Many things happening on the sporting scene, as we said. Very, very interesting weekend all the way around. It does seem like this NFL season is going to go on forever, though, doesn't it, Lubie?
Yes.
Not only are you really excited about it happening, the anticipation is just off the chart. I did see also, and I hate to mention this because it's not a particularly favorable result, but our good friend Sheldon G. Mm-hmm. Which, what did he do? I mean,
I don't know. He has lots of money.
He win some mesothelioma lawsuit or something? How does he have all of this capital?
I don't know.
This
he
guy.
puts major bets out there. He's like Money Mayweather.
He put $50,000 last night on the Raiders. That had to make that game particularly ugly to watch. 50 times, unless he just didn't care about it. He put 50,000 down on a football game to win 46,000. And so he would have gone to the window. No, and do they do that as cash transactions at these casinos? He's at the South Point Casino in Las Vegas, where he's making these bets. Imagine the comp food that he gets. I mean, they can't wait for him to come. It's not like he doesn't hit. I mean, I've seen him post tickets out. What's good about him is most gamblers would never admit that they blew 50,000 on the wrong side in a blowout. Blew in a blowout, right? You blew the money in a blowout, and it was a blowout. And all the theories were that Patrick Mahomes was finished, that it was over for the fat man, that he was back to binge eating instead of going to team meetings and studying charts and plays and film, and that all he was looking forward to was a nice Thanksgiving dinner. And instead, what does he do? Goes out there and shellacks the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas, in a very festive atmosphere there on a Sunday night football game. So Mahomes throws for, a lot of that was dink and dunk though, wasn't it? Throws for 405 yards, 5 touchdowns in the game. Yes. And this Travis Kelce was just exceptional. He is a modern day Gronk, is he not? Oh, Travis Kelce, monster. Just an absolute monster. So Kansas City, written off for dead now, comes back and wins impressively last night on the road against the Raiders,
of course,
who a lot of people were falling in love with. And glass slipper time again for the Raiders, who looked to be on sort of a Cinderella-type run, did they not? After Gruden went down. Gruden, by the way, too, and I love that, he's suing Roger Goodell in the National Football League.
My favorite.
But he has a point, doesn't he? 650,000 emails, and the only ones that got out there to the press were the ones from Raj. who was grossly disparaged in these emails. I mean, you couldn't have painted an uglier picture of a guy. Even the totally insulting and politically incorrect statement, the racist slur that was being used with regard to DeMaurice Smith. And, the reference to his lips, I mean, perfectly disgusting on the part of John Gruden. Why would you write that if you were a public figure anywhere?
Because he's stupid.
No, really. I mean, why would you want that in any kind of print, whether it's taken out of context or not? It's going to look bad, right? And everybody knows that at this stage.
Yes.
But it is kind of curious, that he didn't have anything particularly flattering to say about Goodell either. And whose emails are the only ones out there? You don't think Bruce Allen wrote a couple of things back?
I'm sure they all did.
I don't think Dan Snyder was maybe too busy ogling chicks at the time from the cheerleading squad from the hidden camera that they had placed in the girls' dressing room. Nobody cares about any of that, right? They gave him a $10 million fine, and that was all under the table. But Gruden, they're leaking this to Woodward and Bernstein and sending another copy in their outgoing mail to some reporter at the New York Times. All right, we're coming back with more. John Congemi, Dateline Dolphins, is going to be brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. I'll tell you what's red hot right now, and that is Hialeah Park. Unbelievable.
Sir.
Champions simulcasting room. People are hitting jackpots. Steve Calabro doing a great job there in the casino. A lot of happy faces in there because you're in there to have a good time, and that's what they want you to do. And now they have the Larry Little Golf Classic coming up. There are details on that at HialeahPark.com. That's always a blast, too. And what a great list of celebrities Larry Little brings out there. The Hall of Famer and the former Dolphin great. Head coach at Bethune-Cookman did a terrific job there, taking a small school and making them very relevant in some of those games, right? Were they not a live dog sometimes? In those games where they were getting $600,000 to come to the University of Miami and get supposedly shellacked, they would give a pretty good account of themselves. Larry Little, a great guy. You're going to love participating in any of the events that are associated with the golf tournament, including that fine dinner that we've attended a few occasions.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully be out there again having some fun here, recording for Ion Channel. But always a guest, Hialeah Park. Champion simulcasting room, Thursday through Sunday. Poker room is 7 days, 7 nights a week, as is the casino. Great food and drink all over the place. Big special events coming up. Frankie is very much on his game here in 2021. The COVID thing kind of shut down some of the things that they like to do, like boxing and all these different celebrations they have. So it's back in action, and everything is happening right now at beautiful Hialeah Park. I'm Jeff DeForest. He's Mike Lubie. Lubitz, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back with more. John Congemi going to join us shortly here and dissect all the things that happen on the pro and college football slate over the weekend, and we'll look ahead to some of the things that are coming up of importance on the gridiron with John Congemi, brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, the overseas highway right there in the heart of Key Largo. Well, it's the very beginning. That's what I like about it, right? You don't have to schlep too far. You're at Jimmy Johnson, man. Give me a margarita and some of those pork nachos, right? Maybe an Italian fisherman for dinner, that pizza that is absolutely great, and then all kinds of great seafood. And there's romance there. There's fun. I mean, it's just everything that you could possibly want in a Keys spot. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. Back with John Congemi and more in a moment. Now that. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack, corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for a lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to Even Keel Fish Sack. Go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. This comes from the great Defo Llama. It's the bets you don't make, the chances you don't take, that can compromise an otherwise incredible life, my friend.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Ion Channel, Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, Defo and Lubie with you on Ion Channel, IonChannel.com, and with you today until 9 o'clock. Had a blast last Friday there. You say that Mark Lawrence, with some of that Lawrencean theory that he comes up with, went down with Seattle. They got shut out by the Green Bay Packers. A lot of people thought that Aaron Rodgers probably wasn't going to play. That line was very, very short, considering that the Packers have been playing great football with Aaron Rodgers, and their defense naturally rose to the occasion there, as evidenced by the big goose egg. Pete Carroll did not want to get shut out in that game. Did you catch any of that ball game, Mike Lubie Lubitz? They literally were lining up for Hail Marys with 3 seconds to go, calling timeouts. Russell Wilson just could not get it going. Every time he threw a ball anywhere near the end zone, it was picked off. And so they get shut out in a game that they were very much in for the most part against the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers coming back. But that line was like 3 points with Seattle going on the road to Lambeau Field. Seemed a little short to me. Did it not, Mike Lubie Lubitz, considering
yes.
It was known that Rodgers was going to play for the last couple of days? You would have thought they would have been sending it in for the Cheeseheads in that game. All right, John Congemi going to join us here in just a couple of minutes on the program. We love John. He's an outstanding football analyst, 21 years. See, I want to go with his dad's number, 25 years, right?
Nice.
Because when you get hosed by an organization after a long period of time, like pretty soon we'll be telling people we worked for 20 years at iHeart. Instead of the actual total, which was like 11 and change. But I thought we were going to cruise right through, making it an even dozen there before any other considerations. Usually it's around Christmas time. At least it was well before the holidays, right?
There you go. We got to get set up here, so it worked out perfectly.
You don't want to go Kramer versus Kramer, right? Where you have to get a job like on Christmas Eve, otherwise you're going to lose custody of your child. They don't take that into consideration in this business of broadcasting. But as they say, this is the business we have chosen. Yes. All right, don't forget about the people at Deal Volkswagen. They're doing a marvelous job down there, Anna and her team. In fact, I believe I'll be in Anna's company at that Patriot game. I think that's the last game of the season for the Dolphins.
There you go.
That ought to be a real beauty, right? Patriots playing some good football.
Annihilating people.
Jersey just stole another vehicle out of there. All points bulletin out for one Jersey Kyle Martinez as he's got Corey's daughter driving a new Tiguan. Absolute thing of beauty, in and out the door in just about an hour or so with all the financing in place. Do you have a job? They're just great. Great people to deal with. It's fantastic. Deal Volkswagen, 3601 Bird Road, heart of the Gables. And, of course, the pre-owned Superstore is right across the street at 3650, and all kinds of great deals there. Now, a lot of people have been inquiring, hey, where can I get a great car? I'm looking for something with low mileage on it that's in great condition. That would be Deal Volkswagen at dealvolkswagen.com. All right, we're coming back with John Congemi, brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. I'm Jeff DeForest. He's Mike Lubitz, returning in a moment. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet here for my friends over at Shenanigans Sports Pub. It's a great place to go to take in a game, a good meal, and a couple of drinks. My friend Patrick, he's been doing it a long time, and he's got 2 locations. West Side is right across from TY Park in Hollywood. And then the East Side location is at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Shenanigans is the place for wings, burgers, barbecue, fresh fish, anything you want, drink specials, late night dining, outdoor dining. It is the place to go, family friendly. Go to Shenanigans and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
The great John Congemi, longtime football analyst on ESPN. He was part of the Finsiders crew, still gets down there and analyzes the Dolphins for about a zillion different operations and outfits, and is well versed on both the college and the pro football scene. Brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, which is a great place to do exactly that. Chill out in the Keys, mile marker 104 on the overseas highway. We welcome to the show the great John Congemi. John, how are you, my friend?
Oh, much better after the Dolphins victory. A nice Florida State Miami game. That was entertaining. And just an overall good weekend. I got to play golf with my son yesterday. So
nice.
A relaxing weekend, Defo.
There you go.
That shot that was described there, where you got the hole-in-one, the ace on 16 at Augusta National, which is no small accomplishment, though. But for Dan Marino to imply that he had a better shot and grab honors on the 17th tee, which is a whole, I guess it hasn't been that big of a deciding factor in the Masters 17. I'm sure all of them have come into play at some point in time, but that seems like a relatively, mild, par 4. But, so he gets up there to tee off, but, did you hit like a grounder or something to the green that went in? I mean,
No.
how could he say he had a better shot when yours went in the hole?
Well, he said that mine took the bounce that his ball should have taken.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we both hit a 7-iron, probably within 5 feet of each other. And instead of, how on 16 the ball kind of caroms and goes down the hill to that
Yes.
back left.
Where was the pin? Was it on the left there, like it is
It was,
like on
but
Saturdays?
It was, Defo. Not all the way back, but down on the left.
All right.
And his ball came back towards the tee box where mine kind of went down towards the hole. So he was upset about the bounce. He kind of stayed with him the whole walk while I was picking the ball out of the hole. Asked for a couple of portraits. So I think I was getting under his skin a little bit, and he said he'd had enough. He's going to take the tee.
That's great.
Now, we know they pipe in the phony bird noise. CBS was exposed for doing that by some guy that was a president of a Audubon Society in Montana there, and he recognized that the birds were not indigenous to anywhere near Georgia and Atlanta and that area, Augusta, at that time of the year. Did you hear birds? That's the question as you were playing Amen Corner. Because that would be a troubling thing if since we know they're not really there to begin with.
Come to think of it, it was so peaceful out there. We went in February, and there was only about 4 groups on the golf course at the time we were playing. I'm not quite sure if I remember birds. I do remember ordering another vodka at the time. I don't remember the birds chirping, but it was so beautiful. Defo, you could have played probably any day of the week, any time of the year. Nothing's out of place. It's just a magical place, really.
Yeah, I'm always hoping. I don't know, the devious, cynic in me is always hoping that maybe some guy punches up the wrong soundtrack on the birds, and all of a sudden you're in.
Yeah,
It's like the jungle.
And you hear the director in the truck going, "Hey, no, not that one." Let's keep it peaceful. Anyway, we're with John Congemi, and it's great. And we didn't get a chance to talk about the Dolphins game. It's Dateline Dolphins with John Congemi, and the Dolphins surprising people by beating the Baltimore Ravens. And we were talking about it on our Friday, Degenerate Friday show, John, with some of the guys. Mike Mayo was with us, and Jersey Kyle, and Lubie also. I mean, every single sign what was pointing in the direction of a Ravens blowout. Like you would be willing, I think the line went off all the way up to 8 and a hook. Yeah. And you'd have been willing to lay like 85 with the Ravens in that game. You had Lamar Jackson coming back to town. I don't know if he feels any kind of proverbial chip on his shoulder type of attitude about the Dolphins bypassing him as a local team that was in desperate need of a quarterback for the last 2 decades. Somehow said, man, we don't need this guy. I forget who they took in his place. Probably some schmenk.
I'm making Fitzpatrick. It was Fitzpatrick.
All right, well, that wasn't a bad call, but nonetheless, they could have had Lamar.
They didn't take a quarterback.
And he comes back to town. The Ravens are rolling. I think in this spot, John Harbaugh was like 9-0 against the spread against the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium. And they go out there and lay an egg, man, and the Dolphins suddenly look like defensive juggernauts. So what did you make of all of that? And is that just, catching lightning in a bottle and a fluke game, an aberration, in your opinion? Or is that indicative of something that might be able to develop here the rest of the way?
Well, when you watch the game, guys, it took the pattern of the last couple. The defense was really getting better. The offense was still a little stagnant. And I think it helped that Baltimore wasn't on their game at all. I mean, pregame, I'm standing on the sidelines. Lamar comes out. He looks great. His family's on the sidelines. John Harbaugh comes up, takes pictures with his mom, the aunts, the uncles. I mean, it looked like it was going to be just teed up to be a Baltimore shellacking, right? But the Miami Dolphin defense has been good over the last probably 2 or 3 games. Only they saved their best for the most explosive quarterback that you could face in terms of things breaking down and him being able to be so elusive. He just ran for 120 yards last week against whoever they came back and beat. I can't remember. It was like a 37-35 game. But he only ran for 39 yards. And the Baltimore Ravens, the biggest thing, guys, they had no answer for the blitz.
Nope.
They had zero answer for the blitz. Before halftime, they didn't make any adjustments at halftime. The Dolphins continued to send the house. They were bringing one more player than you could block, and the Ravens never could get open. They could never escape pressure, and it was the perfect storm for the Dolphins defense.
That's good coaching, though, and everybody's
Yes.
been ripping
Yes.
Brian Flores and asking the mysterious question: hey, is he really the guy? And it didn't look good. I mean, what was happening with this team, and barely eking out a victory over the Houston Texans, a team that's rated the worst in the league by virtually everybody, and has given evidence that they are exactly that. So nothing to get overwhelmingly thrilled about by beating the Texans at home. And now you come back, though, and beat an established team. I mean, that team came in there, 6-2, and looking every bit the part, like, they were going to be contenders, as they often have been since Lamar's been quarterbacking, for a possible AFC championship. And they handled them really, really well. And then on top of that, you had Tua come in relief in that ball game and give rise to hope once again that, as Lubie has been saying all along, maybe he is the man. I don't know. What did you see on that side of the ball, the offense?
Well, I was happy to see Tua come in and play well. I mean, he did struggle a little bit early, but it's always tough and difficult coming off the bench and you're injured. You have a problem with your throwing hand and you're trying to get your footing early. And guys are going a million miles an hour and you're just trying to catch up to the game speed. I think Tua did a really good job. He was able to find receivers. He was able to make plays. And the thing that we were told he couldn't do is push the football down the field. He was able to do that.
Yep.
So 8 of 13, 158 yards, I believe it was. He found Albert Wilson wide open, a Ravens miscue defensively. Earlier in the game, they got Isaiah Ford for a deep shot. So 2 of the biggest plays, the most explosive plays of the year, come against the Ravens, which you wouldn't expect. And I thought Tua handled himself really well, and I think he should start against the Jets. He's going to have plenty of time to rest, plenty of time to test out if he can do all the things necessary. So I would expect Tua to start against the New York Jets.
It's funny, John, I'm not usually the biggest fan of the head coach taking over for a coordinator because that's what you're supposed to do. You hire the coordinator, you're supposed to trust them. However, if your coordinators aren't getting the job done, I do appreciate a head coach stepping in and getting the job done. Manny Diaz has done it with the Canes, and I'm sure we'll talk Canes-Knowles, college football with you later on, and it hasn't worked for him. But Brian Flores, and I give him some credit, it wasn't working. The defense was supposed to be elite this year, and it's gone backwards. It was not the defense we thought it would be, except for the last couple weeks, and especially Thursday. I mean, they were dominant. Lamar Jackson was literally, and Defo and I talked about it, he's usually calm, cool, collected. He was pissed the whole game.
Yes.
And it was on him. It wasn't anyone else's fault but him. He wasn't reading the defense. They were sending blitzes. A great quarterback loves a blitz. He wasn't taking advantage of it. So it was more him than anything else. But he was just frustrated. And I give Flores credit for stepping in. My question is, why hasn't he done it earlier? If he saw that the defense wasn't getting the job done and he knew what to do, why now?
Well, Lubie, that's a risky thing to do, what the Dolphins did to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Because just as well as it worked and as well as, you contained one of the most explosive quarterbacks in all of the NFL, either throwing the football or running the football, that edge of the sword can turn, and that could have been 21 points right away. Yeah. If somebody slips out of coverage, because it's man-to-man, there's nobody in the middle of the field.
Yep.
You're bringing one more person than they can block. I was more surprised, and I give Brian Flores credit, and I give Josh Boyer, the defensive coordinator, credit, because I'm sure they both had a hand in coming up with this scheme to defeat the Ravens. But I was more surprised that the Ravens and all the savvy they have on the coaching staff and all the experience they have on offense weren't able to come up with an alternative to go ahead and max protect, bring another person in to block, just go 2 receivers and let X and Byron Jones, see if they can hold up for 2.5 quarters, and just run them to death and see if you can get an explosive play on the outside while you're protecting the pocket. I think that on the other side of the football, yes, the Dolphins did a great job of scheming the way they wanted to attack Lamar Jackson. But on the other side, the Ravens did a poor job of having any type of answer to come back because, as you said, as a quarterback, if they're blitzing, that's a green light special. You're going to take it down the field and you're going to try to make big plays, and it should be easy because it's all man-to-man coverage with plenty of green grass because there's no one in the middle of the field because that guy's trying to get you before you can get it off.
That Rip Van Winkle guy is great, man. He was awesome in the game, Van Ginkel. And the question, I want you to quell some of the rumors that are now surfacing that the reason that you were on the sideline before the game is that you were actually going to suit up if there was an injury to Tagovailoa and he couldn't go. Were you contacted by Chris Greer? Because he was pulling guys in off the street as recently as like a year ago.
I wish I was young enough to do it. No, I had no chance. I had a hot dog and a coffee in the other hand. So I had no business going out on the field. But you know what? It's always great to go down there, Defo, beforehand and take a look at these guys because you're actually wondering, man, I actually played that game. These guys are way too big. I mean, and they run too fast, and it's unbelievable the speed of the game when you're standing on the sidelines.
It was a night game, so this wasn't a factor. And we were speculating that perhaps the Dolphins had figured out how to appease their fans and that they weren't going to turn the lights on at any time during the game. They were just going to play this game like that college game that was played in the fog there in the dark, which might have been the only way you could have foreseen the Dolphins beating the Ravens in that game. So that was a good one. We'll come back. We'll talk about some of the things that happened around the National Football League with John Congemi in just a moment here. It's Dateline Dolphins with John Congemi. Mercifully, the Dolphins gave us a day off on a nice Sunday, so we weren't subjected to watching a boring game, although coming off that thrilling victory. You're playing golf. I'm at the track.
We're hanging out.
Fantastic. You find that surprising that I was at a parimutuel facility, but I'll tell you where I'd like to have been, man, at this beautiful weather, and people start thinking about, well, where am I going to go for the holidays, and what am I going to do? I want to take a little staycation here in Florida. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill is the ideal spot to stop in, or if you're planning a trip to the Keys or just looking to make one, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill is the perfect place for that.
You know what, guys? I contacted my brother. We're going to try to make a trip down there.
Nice.
Let's go.
I'm expecting a call today with the guys, with Larry and Amanda and my brother Dominic, and we're going to try to get down there next month.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So hopefully that'll happen, and we'll be able to capture the beauty that we get to see, when we take a trip down there to the Bayside. It's just I got to believe it's pretty cool on a Sunday when you've got all those games going in the newly renovated sports bar, and you've got your Florida teams, you've got your national games on. Usually in the Dolphin section, people are either happy or sad this year, a little bit more on the sad side. Yeah. But, then you walk outside to the tiki bar and have a drink and cool off and forget about the game, which is so nice because, grab a pizza, grab anything you want, my brother can make, which is kind of cool. And just relax. And that's all about the Big Chill. First class service, first class food, and, the breathtaking views. That's why you go.
You think Jimmy would have sent 3 after the quarterback on 4th and 14?
Possibly.
You couldn't
from
wait.
there, your own 25-yard line. I mean, there's no way you would have had guys count Mississippi's. As a quarterback, I mean, don't you find that a bit of a joke? I mean, what would you rather have, immense pressure in that spot? Or have all day to figure out where to throw into a soft zone in the middle of the field?
Like when they rush 3, aren't you like, yay?
Yeah, you got 7 big guys blocking up front.
Like, are you kidding me?
It's funny though, guys. You normally say that you take it for granted, but when you watch at the end of a half or end of a game and people rush 3 for the Hail Mary, don't you always see the quarterback have to scramble and buy time to get out?
Right.
You think it's easy, but I think the lineman kind of led up to the other guy will get him. I'm okay, and you end up getting pressure.
That was crazy. I mean, literally, I counted 7 Mississippis before this quarterback who, normally, I mean, they would have sent the entire house. They would have sent Father Leo after the guy. Is he still around? I don't know. Father Leo, alive or dead?
I think he's alive.
You think alive? Okay. I'll go with that. I'll stick with that. John Congemi with us. So we'll talk about what happened in the NFL. The Chiefs refound that spark last night against the Raiders, costing our friend Sheldon G 50 large. You imagine a friend of ours posted a picture on Facebook of a ticket he purchased. He does this frequently, and he's making like $20,000 bets on games. Now he's even betting hockey. I don't know what happened. I mean, where do you get this kind of money? Would be the first question. But 50 dimes he had on the Raiders last night. That had to be a hard one to watch from 17-14 on.
Yeah, not good late. No.
Oh, my God. Bags of money just going to the house. Incredible. All right, coming back with more with John in a moment. We'll talk about the NFL and, of course, the college football scene here on Eye on Channel. Not even Jack Namer would have had 50 dimes to send in. And if he did, he would have listened to Mark Lawrence and put it in on the Washington football team yesterday over the Tampa Bay Bucks. We'll talk about that and more with John in a moment.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy, and if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come. The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Many years as an analyst on ESPN and various other broadcast enterprises, including here locally in South Florida, all over, like, CBS it is? That
CBS,
you're dissecting games for? Very nice.
That's right. We've got Dolphins Weekly Live every Sunday morning at 11:30, and then we'll do the fifth quarter show on WFOR4 right immediately following the game.
All right, so you had a game to analyze, so it wasn't like doing Dolphins weekly during the bye week, which I always found to be a little bit problematical.
Yes.
You got a 4-hour show, DeForest, and no, they don't play today. And that was great. It was a relief. Got to watch a lot of other teams in action yesterday. We caught 3 games here broadcast locally. I wasn't at a sports bar or anything where you could see them all, but how much empathy. I really got into that overtime period with the Lions in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And I found myself really rooting for Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. They had a 12-game losing streak going in, so technically they snapped that. But ended up with a draw, which in this case I don't think was at all as unsatisfying and as untempting as kissing your sister. I mean, that had to be a great relief to these guys. What do you think?
I was, as much as I pull for anything Pittsburgh going to Pitt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was pulling for Dan Campbell because I didn't want to see him go through the misery on the sidelines of what he probably had endured for the last 2.5 months, right?
Yes.
So a 16-16 game, could you imagine who felt worse? Dan Campbell and the Lions going to the tunnel knowing they haven't won again, but at least they tied, or the Pittsburgh Steelers fans exiting the stadium thinking that they tied the Detroit Lions, right?
And it looked like they were going to pull it out at the end. Of course, a missed extra point, I think, did in the Lions in that game, although you can never really say for sure if that was ultimately going to be the difference, because it would have changed the whole dynamic of the game to begin with. But, that kicker had to feel pretty bad. And, he came out and attempted a field goal, reasonably makeable field goal, and just shanked it. It looked like his foot came out from underneath him there as he was trying to plant, and he couldn't have been thrilled. Is he still with the team, by the way? The Detroit Lions kicker. That was horrible.
I don't think he made the team playing going back to Detroit. I'm not sure.
They put him on a balloon,
pass. Yeah. No, you're going to get in the car. We've got a special ride for you, right?
I had a friend who was a coach with the Oklahoma Outlaws. Gentleman was a prominent businessman here in South Florida named Jim McKinley. And, they had a kicker, miss a crucial kick in the fourth quarter, and his stuff was already out in the streets before he got back to his locker in the old wild USFL. John Congemi with us here on Ion Channel. All right, so that was kind of interesting. Detroit's still without a victory this year on a season. Pittsburgh looked like they were really putting it together, although they had to go without Ben Roethlisberger, who was on COVID-19. Another quarterback with COVID-19. I remember we were talking with Brett Tesser, the agent to the Stars, and he was saying before the season that the biggest issue facing the NFL would be COVID-19. And I don't know, what level of impact do you see it having? I mean, it was a big deal with Aaron Rodgers for other reasons, but how much influence has it been? We're seeing a lot of players missing action due to COVID-19, including Nick Chubb yesterday, a blowout against the Patriots.
I thought it would be worse, 6 months ago, 4 months ago, before the season started. I don't think it's been as big of an impact as it could have been, but it does. It kind of is crazy that it seems like it's always these impactful players that are coming down with COVID-19. It's not like the third team tackle that you might not even mention that's going on COVID-19, or he's on the list. Everybody goes, yeah, so what? Hopefully he's okay. He's feeling okay. He's going to get back next week, but it's not going to have any impact on the Steelers or the Cleveland Browns or whatever team it impacts. But it's when it's Aaron Rodgers and when it's Ben Roethlisberger, you go, wow, I mean, that's going to change the outcome of the game, or that's going to, have a direct impact on the way the offense is run. So I guess overall, I don't think it's as bad as it could have been in terms of guys missing games, but it's who's missing games. I think that's really caught the attention of the fans.
That could be the end of COVID, though, if you wouldn't, find a way, if you were like Dr. Fauci, try and stop the spread, get Roethlisberger infected with it. Because nothing can stop Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, literally, this guy will be the last surviving creature on Earth with the cockroach. I mean, if there was a nuclear blast, there'd only be a couple of things left, and one of them would be Big Ben, who you can't get out of the lineup. So, I guess he's probably feeling no pain whatsoever, and going to come back fairly quickly. All right, Kansas City. We've talked about the Chiefs. They annihilate Las Vegas last night, and it was kind of glass slipper weekend on a couple of fronts in the NFL. One was Mike White, who was being anointed as the guy now. They had already put Zach Wilson out to pasture, the New York media, and now they can't wait to get him back, which is something I love. He has... And that's not atypical, John. How many times have we seen it where a guy comes out there and looks great? Maybe one start, maybe two, and then goes Ryan Leaf and is never the same guy again. Now, this is a kid that seems like he's very likable and easy to root for, but he fell apart. And then the Chiefs, who were given up for dead and were losing every game against the point spread, and including putting $50,000 of Sheldon G's money up in smoke, our friend. They look great in this game last night and seem to have found a solution for a lot of the problems that were plaguing them this season.
Well, they did. They made the plays that they hadn't made in a few weeks with any consistency. You know, anytime that you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes that's going to extend plays, that's going to run around and be able to, you know, kind of schoolyard the other team to death, because he's going to break a tackle, escape a sack. It should be, you know, 2nd and 25, but he comes out and makes not only a first down, but a touchdown or a 40-yard play. And those are the things that the Chiefs haven't been able to do with any consistency this year. Well, last night they were able to do it. Last night they were able to move the chains when they needed to. They were able to get good defense, and they were able to have Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes.
All right, John, I have to ask you, because it's a team that Defo, and you're a Midwest guy, right? Aren't you? Ohio from
Ohio,
the start?
yes.
Okay, talking about Ohio, Defo was on the Cleveland Browns bandwagon like 2 years ago, and every national reporter made fun of him. And then last year they had resurgence, so it almost gave Defo some vindication. What the hell's happening with the Browns? Like, I understand the Patriots have come together and the Belichick way, whatever, but that was a disaster. Like, what was that Sunday? Like,
I don't know. You know, you have your quarterback go down middle of the game. You have all the turmoil with Odell Beckham Jr. over the last, you know, ever since he's probably been there over the last month and a half, it really intense. And you feel like, okay, we've exorcised the demons. We've got all the bad mojo out of the building. We're going to go ahead and play really well against the Patriots team that's middle of the road.
Yes.
Well, Mac Jones is not middle of the road. People kept saying to me, if you draft this guy at Alabama, you're crazy. This guy's going to be terrible. And I'm like, all he does is drop back and get the ball out on time. Why wouldn't he be any good? And if you get to a system that fits you, which New England fits it perfectly, why wouldn't this kid be able to catch fire early? Well, he caught fire yesterday on the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns did not look like a team that was a game out of first place, you know, in their division. It seems like with all the things that have happened, with the Ravens losing, you know, with the Steelers coming up with a tie, that was the strike zone, Defo, for your Cleveland Browns to step through and go, okay, we're the team to beat now. You know, Cincinnati took a step back, but I don't know. It's going to be survival. Who's going to end up, you know, winning that crown in that division?
What do they do with Mayfield?
All you need to know, John, is that Lubie trashed the pick of Mac Jones,
hammered Mac Jones,
saying it was the worst reach in the history of Mel Kiper's hair, and that this guy was going to be the biggest flop, and he's acquitted himself like nobody else in this rookie class so far, and looks like the second coming. Belichick, I think, is going to coach another 12 years because of this kid, because he thinks he has the next Tom Brady.
The thing that you can't teach is timing and a knack for when the ball is supposed to come out and where to place it. You have all these quarterbacks now. You look at the Oklahoma 2 quarterbacks. They run around. Nothing's kind of designed. You know, everything's kind of a mismatch. When things are going crazy, they're at their best. Yeah. When things are calm, they're not as efficient as you need to be. That's the entire flip of the script with Mac Jones. When things are calm and things are just smoothly running, he's at his best. When things break down, he doesn't make a mistake. He throws it away. He'll take a sack. He'll do things that he's not going to do anything he doesn't feel not comfortable doing. And that's why he fits that system really well. And that's why this offense has been able to kind of go 12 plays, 14 play yard, drives, 11 play drives. It's not 4 plays, touchdown, and then you get an interception. Now the game's tied at 7. They kind of control the clock. Yeah.
No, it's incredible. And I think Belichick easily now surpasses Don Shula, because he'll be coaching into his 90s. And he will end up being the all-time winningest coach, a record that was up there with like Cy Young's 511 wins. Yeah, you would have thought this is impossible. Nobody's ever going to come close to winning that many games as Don Shula did, but looks like Belichick might be around for a while. All right, we'll come back. We'll dissect the college football slate from this past weekend. Oklahoma going down. And, of course, we had UM and FSU, which we talked about earlier in the program, but we'll get John's view. John Congemi with us on Dateline Dolphins, and we'll return with more here on Ion Channel with John in a moment. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack, corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for a lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack, go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease its house and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. There were a lot of things taking place, man. They were shaking it up on a college football gridiron. Oklahoma going down, that obviously of great significance. And what did you make, John Congemi, of the controversy in that game where Baylor calls a timeout? Their coach, Dave Aranda, says, I was thinking point differential might make a difference
he openly admitted
at the end of the season. And he calls a timeout with like 3 seconds to go, but they'd already allowed the fans to storm the field. So now Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley takes his team that was beaten off the field, and they dragged them out. I always hated that when they would drag like the teams out after the fact to kick an extra point, like a meaningless extra point after the game was decided and there was no time left on the clock. And sure enough, the Oklahoma Sooners had a legitimate beef, did they not?
I think so. I think that, it's one of those deals where the fans rush the field, teams in the locker room, the game's over, right? You're not gonna come back. I don't know about point differential in the Big 12 championship, how that works out. That's what, Dave Aranda was talking about when he was talking to the sideline.
It looked like it could have been a factor. I mean, I looked at some of the mathematical deductions that were being made there, and you know what?
He had a legitimate
legitimate reason to do it.
Right. So I could see both sides. For safety reasons, you probably don't want to try to clear the field, get the players out, and then they have to go back through that gauntlet because you're asking for trouble when you have that many people on the field. But I do see Baylor's side, the football side of it, I understand. that if they had control of the crowd and no one rushed the field in the beginning, they probably would have done that anyway, got the field goal, and then everybody can go on their merry way.
It looked like his intention, it's Barzini all along. That's what he meant to do all along. But unfortunately, they have lousy security there, and the fans were already on the field, and it became a nightmare. And Lincoln Riley didn't have particularly flattering things to say about Baylor and the program. He even brought up some of the ugly indiscretions, if you can categorize that marginally, what happened there at Baylor in the past. I think Riley even quoted a few of those things in his post-game press conference. He was upset, as was Oklahoma. Now, what do you see at the top, John Congemi? People have been wondering if Cincinnati's going to maneuver its way in. They get by in another ball game, failed to cover a point spread, unfortunately for me, but because I think they're going to, go out and try and annihilate people. So maybe they're not good enough to do that. They have one top 10 win that's over Notre Dame. Not bad, but, and not as good as some of the other teams and not as well as their accomplishments would post up against them. So, what do you make of the way things are configured right now? I guess, we won't see any change in the top four, right?
Shouldn't. I don't think you'll see that. Georgia's going to stay clearly number one. Alabama and Oregon, are going to stay there. Ohio State, took care of Purdue, Purdue took care of Michigan State. So you end up, I think Cincinnati's going to find a way to sneak in because Ohio State has to play Michigan State this week, and then they play Michigan at the end of the year. So that you're going to have some movement in the Big Ten, and it's going to dictate where Cincinnati goes. I just think that, Oklahoma's obviously done. Michigan State's kind of on the outside looking in. I think if there's one team that's going to get there, it's going to be Cincinnati, but they're going to have to beat somebody the way a number 5 or 6 team is supposed to beat a team down the stretch. Because if they have another close game and, you have some of those moniker teams like a Michigan and Ohio State and they're hanging around at the end and Oregon kind of takes care of business, there's only one slot really remaining. And the way Auburn just spit the bit against Mississippi State there with a huge lead, they're the only team in the SEC that could really do damage to Alabama, in the Iron Bowl. So there's still some good games to be played. There's still some movement to be had. But if I had to say one conference to look at, it's the Big Ten, because you have teams playing against teams that are going to definitely impact the top 6 and for sure the top 4.
All right, they call John Congemi and they say, listen, we've got Condoleezza Rice on the committee. She doesn't know squat about football, or maybe she did. I don't know. And she's not on the committee anymore. But, let's say they ask you to go ahead and vote for her, or anybody in this case. You had a vote in the outcome of what was going to happen. Would you see Cincinnati as a team that you would put in the Final Four right now? I mean, in your heart of hearts, do you think they're good enough to be in contention with these other teams, or is it just another one of those popular things that we saw with Central Florida, and we're seeing other schools? I think even the University of Texas San Antonio is now parading around with some kind of makeshift trophy that they're calling the national championship.
Defo, it all depends on matchups. Cincinnati's a good football team. They're a good football team in the AAC. If they played in the ACC, if they played in the SEC, if they played in the Big 12 or the Big 10 or the Pac-12, they're probably going to be nicked up by now in terms of multiple losses. I'm not going to say they're going to lose 5 games, but they would have been tripped up. On their bad day, somebody's going to get them. Are they good enough to play head to head with Alabama? I don't think so. Are they good enough to score points against Georgia? They may score 7. I don't know if they're going to score enough to win. It all depends on the matchup. Now, do they get Oregon on a bad day where Oregon coughs up the football, can't get first downs? Can they hang with a team like that? Maybe. But I don't think they're as good as the top 2, and they're probably not as good as the rest of the majority of the top 3 or 4 teams. But on their best day, they could beat them.
John,
it all depends on the matchup.
Oklahoma losing, I think, was huge for them. Here's the deal. Alabama still will have to play Georgia in an SEC title game, and I get that. That's probably the 2 best teams in the country going head to head, and it'll probably be a war. But here's the deal. If Alabama loses that game, they now have 2 losses. And
right.
If you're Cincinnati and you're undefeated, to me, I get it. A 1-loss Alabama. Okay, of course. But a 2-loss Alabama, if you now have Oklahoma has a loss. The Big 12 has sort of fallen down now with that. If you have an undefeated Cincinnati, how do they not get in over a 2-loss Alabama?
They should. They should get in. I mean, they can only control the teams they play on their schedule, right, guys?
Yes.
You can't have these imaginary matchups where what if Cincinnati had an opportunity? Well, you know, when you think back, Cincinnati had these opportunities. I think when Brian Kelly might have been coach, or maybe the coach at maybe it was D'Antonio, when they went up against Florida, you knew it was going to be a train wreck. There's no way that Florida team was not going to just destroy Cincinnati because it was a matchup. They didn't match up on the line of scrimmage. They didn't match up in the skill positions. It could be the same thing said this year. But I agree with you, Lubie. If they're undefeated and Alabama loses to Georgia in the SEC championship, Cincinnati has to be there. Or why have it?
Yeah, exactly.
Or why have them play around at 5 or 6 all year just to, get slapped down at the end?
Dan Mullen, he can't be feeling too comfortable. I don't know if he looked at the game film of the first half against Samford when the Gators yield 42 points to some schmank team. Now they go on to win the ball game handily, 72-50, something like
70,
that.
50,
but,
52, yeah.
Something, I mean, it was a wide margin at the end, but, you're thinking, was that Stanford? No, that was Samford. I mean, what a disgrace. What do you make of this chaos?
Stanford a couple times. He wasn't sure.
Exactly.
That would at least be, somewhat believable, especially if Elway was back there in his prime, but that was hardly the case. I saw a lot of helter-skelter type comments with regard to the Florida Gators and the Gator Nation. They have reason, I guess, to be upset. Huh? I mean, how secure is Dan Mullen there after what I thought was a really good year by him and his staff last year?
Well, Defo, just think about it. They fire the defensive coordinator. They give up 50-plus points to a team that you would think if they scored 7, take the check. Thank you, Bull Gators, and then go back to Sanford,
thank you, Elmo.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, I mean, that was crazy. I was driving in my car. I saw, I think it was like 42-42.
You catch Mick Hubert on the call?
I did. That's why. He was, my. It was great.
We're getting torched.
Yeah. Who is this guy? Who is this team? But it was shocking. And I think, Dan Mullen obviously squarely in the crosshairs of something happening at the end of the year, because this is just not the way Florida is supposed to play with any consistency. You play Alabama toe to toe. You come one play away a month and a half ago, and now you almost get beat by a team, at home that shouldn't score more than 10 points in a game. So
that's crazy.
Definitely a lot of question marks, with Gator Nation.
All right, we saved the best for last here, and you mentioned when you were quarterbacking at Pittsburgh, the arch rival was Penn State, and all the cliches apply to these kind of games in college football. You can throw the records right out the window. I tell you what, these kids really want to beat each other, and they want to beat each other badly, and it means a lot for recruiting and this and that. So that's UMFSU. Now, FSU, I didn't even realize that going into this game, that they had dropped 4 straight to the University of Miami, and Miami's coming in off a 3-game winning streak, one of which was a very impressive win over a talented Pittsburgh team, your alma mater, John Congemi. So you can't shrug that off, even though they just got by against Georgia Tech the ensuing week. And you're thinking they're primed and ready to make it 5 straight over Florida State, a 3-6 team. They come out, they look horrible. And, no matter what the rivalry level was, and then as I mentioned, there's Manny Diaz. I thought that was one of the weakest defensive calls I've ever seen, 4th and 14. And so uncharacteristic. If you wanted to have something that epitomized how far away the Hurricanes were from their heyday, I mean, they would have sent everybody after the quarterback in that spot, flatten the guy at the 50-yard line, and run off the field in celebration with Randall Hill going all the way into the parking lot. And instead, they go into some soft, defense with a zone in the middle there that nobody understood, and rush 3 guys, and it took them forever for this play to unfold, and they give up a play like that. And then, poor clock management in the end. They're wasting time, not calling timeouts. Just looked like they were very ill prepared for this game at a time where you were starting to maybe let this coaching staff off the hook. So, what did you take from the UM-FSU game?
What I don't understand about the game is that Manny Diaz gambled on offense the entire game on 4th down.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was rolling the dice. And they kept producing the Canes kept coming up with plays that pressured Florida State.
Yes.
And even though the Canes started slowly and Florida State started very hot, give them credit. They played terrific in the beginning of that football game. The Canes found a way to come back with their young quarterback, and that was by pushing the issue on fourth down, going after every opportunity they had to roll the dice and roll it with success. To your point, Defo, when it's the game on the line, you're sending everybody you possibly can play man coverage because you feel like that's the way you're going to get to a quarterback that might not feel comfortable standing in the pocket and delivering in a tight window. The complete opposite happens. Florida State gets the in cut. They get down. To their credit, they don't score the first couple of quarterback sneaks because that turned more time off the clock, right? And at the end of the game, Miami's urgency or lack thereof cost them probably 10 to 12 seconds.
Yep.
And then one of the rules, I still remember sitting in a huge ballroom at ESPN at the airport in Hartford. You're sitting there and they put in this rule. If there's less than 3 seconds on the clock, you cannot spike the football. I remembered that as a quarterback when the officials came in and presented that. I remembered that because I'm in control as a quarterback that's part of my job, clock management. For the Canes staff not to be yelling at Van Dyke saying you can't spike it, Hail Mary, whatever it is, you've got to get a playoff. The announcers didn't say it. No, I don't think anybody really knew it until it happened. Now, maybe they did, to their credit, didn't get the message into the quarterback or the offense. But in that situation, those are things that you work on during the week. It's all 2-minute drill. It's all end of half. It's all end of game. That's one of the scenarios as a quarterback room in meetings. You go, hey, listen, remember, guys, if you can't hear me on the sidelines, it takes 3 seconds to spike the football. Yep. If there's 4 on the clock, spike it. If there's 3 on the clock, you got to run a play, right? Anything under that, you have to run a play.
No,
they didn't
crazy.
get that done.
Not to know the rules. I mean, and that speaks to coaching. And we were just ready. I had just put the hot plate on simmer with Manny Diaz because I'm not a big fan of every time a team loses, you start talking about firing the entire coaching staff. I don't think you can win that way either. This man has had time to demonstrate what it is that he's going to bring to the table. And as you said, I mean, it was the most scathing indictment that I've heard about the program when you said we should expect to be Appalachian State, but with this Hurricane fan base. Now, is that said as a bitter rival from Pittsburgh?
No.
You have an affinity for the program being here in town. You almost can't help it. And yet it's developing into almost a sympathy at this stage, hoping that these guys eventually get over the fact that they're going to be heartbroken the rest of their lives if they're Hurricane fans.
Well, look, I mean, obviously they have better talent than they thought they had, and they're playing at a much higher level than they did earlier in the season. My comparison was when you're going up against Alabama and then you play Appalachian State even, then you lose at home to what turned out to be a good Michigan State team. You're not the 5-time world champions anymore. Yeah. Okay. You're not the class of college football, and fans have to accept that. You can't pin it, to the floor where the Canes were for their heydays of the 80s and 90s and expect that to happen every time you roll the football out on the field. But it has to be closer. It has to be more consistent than it was earlier in the season. It got there, but hey, you're winning close games. So you're a play away from, either having 10 wins, 9 wins, or 4 or 5 wins, which they're around.
Yeah, I've been any number of times, and I haven't seen every second of Hurricane football this year, but seems like whenever I tune in, Manny Diaz is doing something that goes against and is the antithesis of everything I believed about competing in sports, and watching it, playing, whatever, my entire life, which is you don't go soft in situations like that. You don't run the ball when you need 14 yards. Yeah. And, the game is on the line there, and you're going to run straight into the line of scrimmage as you did in one loss earlier this year. And then that was horrifying to watch. A guy complete a pass down the middle of the field like that.
As aggressive as he was on fourth down.
Yeah, he was conservative.
That went against everything they did to get themselves back in the football game.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Go after it. If you're going to do it in the third quarter on offense, why not when the game's on the line on defense, just send your best players, and hopefully you're gonna win or lose by being aggressive.
Exactly.
They used to just rush like medics, to the quarterback. I mean, two of their guys just to help them up after they flatten them in these spots. And instead, you're watching a guy go to the 1 yard line and then eat up the rest of the clock. John, always a pleasure. I can't believe it, man. I'm so excited that you mentioned that we're going to arrange a trip down there. I know Jack's all excited about bringing one of the production vehicles there from Ion Channel. And if we can get Jimmy out there, that'll be my first question. When you have rushed 3 against Florida State on a 4th and 14 against an inexperienced quarterback with the game on the line. My God. John, we love you, man. I hope you hit him well yesterday, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks so much for being with us.
Always fun to join you guys. That was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Be good.
All right, John Congemi, ladies and gentlemen. Brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in the Keys, as are we, and we will bring you more of this tomorrow here on Ion Channel. A pleasure being with you on the Defo Show on this fine Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday. I'm Jeff DeForest for Mike Lubie Lubitz. Stick with us, everybody. Tell your friends. And we will be with you again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. And we will feature the Agent to the Stars. And that'll be Brent Tessler talking about the National Football League. And, of course, Harvey Fialkoff, man, the Rambling Wreck from Georgia Tech.
The Rambling Wreck. That's a great nickname.
Kind of like me, yeah.